Hello, and welcome to the Season 1 finale of Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. So here we are at the end of what I'm calling kind of Season 1. We've gone through Tempest through to Scourge, which is like a fairly big chunk of history. It's about 6 years. Um, just to make this project like more manageable for me, I have decided to split things up into like these kind of seasons, like these different kind of eras I consider of the game. Whether that's like the game itself or for me personally, like Tempest to Scourge makes sense as a nice defined block to look at, just because that's it's using the classic card faces, and now moving forward into 8th edition, we'll be looking at cards with a modern card face. So it just seemed like a good idea to split things here, and also I need time just to kind of take a break and start you know start recording other things in future. So this is the progress we've made so far by looking at the pre-constructed decks. So as you can see, we've done all of Tempest down through Scourge and then 7th edition. So there is still quite a lot to go, as you can see here. What I thought would be fun for this video, though, is to talk about the sort of like the top and bottom 5 I've had since looking through the decks this season, and then maybe just wrap out with kind of like a look at what's coming, and kind of ideas I've had for sort of like the next season. So, but yeah, let's look at the decks that I didn't like looking at. After going through this first season of Precon Decon. So just a disclaimer, this is just all my opinion. If you liked these decks, that's fine. I just didn't particularly like them when I was reviewing them, or I thought they were a bit weak or a little disappointing, or but that's, as I say, it's just my opinion. This is all just for fun. We're all friends here. So let me just rag on these 5 first. So the first one that really jumped at me as I really didn't like was Tombstone from Urza's Saga. So it's a shame, because this was the first 3-color pre-constructed deck we looked at. And like Urza's block is like like a pretty good block. I've got some nostalgia for it because it's a set I played a lot when I was in secondary school, so about sort of like 14 to 16, that sort of range. And yeah, but this deck just really didn't. I really bounced off hard off this one. It's meant to be like a reanimator deck, I think, and it's just not very good at being that, in my opinion. So yeah, I wasn't keen on it. And then the other Urza's deck, which I really didn't like, was Radiant's Revenge. Now, I talked about this a lot in my video. So this is a deck where I don't think necessarily it's weak as such. I think it's quite mediocre. It's not doing anything particularly bad mechanically. It's not doing anything particularly well. It's just kind of like a standard white blue kind of defensive, stally, controlling deck. Like it's a little weak, maybe, like the card selection. The reason why it's here is because I talked about this a lot in the video. It's called Radiant's Revenge, and it doesn't have Radiant, the legendary angel from Urza's Legacy, in it, which like felt like such a huge miss in terms of like theming. Yeah, so that's why this is here. Yeah, a deck called Radiant's Revenge with no angels in it. Very disappointing. And then skipping right ahead to Prophecy. So Prophecy is a weird set. Like it gets a lot of hate. Like after like reviewing it, I've mellowed on it a little bit, I think. And sort of like seeing people's comments on the video. I just want to say, by the way, to the people who regularly comment on my videos, you know who you are. Thank you so much. It does mean a lot to me, and it does give me a lot of motivation to keep doing these videos. So I really want to say thank you for that. I just want to take the opportunity now to say that. But yeah, so I've kind of mellowed on Prophecy a little bit because I think there were some diamonds in the rough in that set, but none of them were really in this deck, this Slither deck, because it was a deck that was all about trying to make sure all your lands were tapped all the time to make your creatures like somewhat okay. And yeah, it just wasn't great. Out of all the prophecy decks, I think this one was the weakest. And it's so hard to make like a red green deck like bad because it's so straightforward. It's usually just like big creatures and burn spells. But yeah, this one, yeah, really missed, really dropped the ball on that. And then from Plane Shift Scout, this one really hurt because this was a deck I owned, and I did play it a few times, and I just remember thinking when I was playing it, like, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? Yeah, I really didn't like Scout. It's got like such a weird selection of creatures. Yeah, it's got this really kind of uncertain strategy. I think it's just a bit of a mess, really. Um, yeah, just not much to say. I just think it's a bit weak in terms of like card selection. It could have been a lot better. Which is a shame, yeah, because it's another triple color deck, and I don't like it when sort of like decks that are a little unique in color combination turn out to be bad. It's just unfortunate. And then the last deck, which I really wasn't happy with, was Pulverize from Scourge, which was one of the last ones we looked at. So this is kind of like a stand-in. There was this one and Max Attacks from Scourge. Overall, actually, I think Scourge was actually fairly disappointing as a set to look at. I think only the Goblin deck was actually really, really good, and then the other three were like it was such a huge dip in quality. But Pulverize I think was the worst one. Just it has like this really weird theme of like big mana values matter. So a lot of the spells in it are very, very expensive. It's very like dirtly strategy to play around with, and I just think if you were a new player and you played this out of the box, you would have had like a really bad experience. Like you would have just like your first 3 or 4 turns, you wouldn't have been able to do really anything. I just think it would have been a really miserable experience to play this deck. So yeah, did not care for Pulverize. I mean, I didn't care for it so much. It prompted me to like make a whole video where I just made up 2 more pre-constructed decks. So like, look, I'm gonna overstep the line here maybe and like design what I think are better decks for this set. But yeah, so really wasn't keen on Pulverize at all, which is a shame because I really like red and blue as a color combination. But there were decks I really, really liked, so we'll talk about those now. So these are the ones that I either would have really liked to have owned, um, or I think one of these I did own, and the others I really wanted to own, or like they just had like really good like strategies. They had really good card selection. Maybe these are the ones I really liked when I was looking at them. So the first one was Call of the Core from Stronghold. I thought this was great. Just a black white deck, had a lot of synergy. The core is such an interesting creature type. And mechanically, they did something very unique, which was being able to split out damage between them and all your creatures, which made which made them very survivable, which is really fun. I have a lot of fondness for the core because I built a deck using them and Pestilence, which was really good fun. So yeah, really really liked this one. Would have had a I really wish I'd had this one. I would have had a good time playing it. I think, yeah, really liked this one. And on the subject of Pestilence, the Plague from Urza Saga, I think this was like probably one of the strongest decks overall I've looked at this in these videos so far. So this has like a really good solid theme, which is Pestilence and creatures with protection from black or damage prevention abilities. So the idea is you pop Pestilence, you sweep the board of your opponent's creatures, and your own guys are untouched because they have protection from black or whatever. Yeah, this one was really really good. I think this one is like I think it's generally regarded as like one of the best kind of like early pre-constructed decks. Yeah, this one was really really good. I really liked this one. And then going to Odyssey, Transomatic. So this is weird. So Transomatic, um, it's weird. So it's not necessarily the deck itself. I think. I mean, although the deck itself is good, I just think it's really here to represent just kind of blue green all the way throughout Odyssey block. And like this was such a good solid foundation for like making like a blue green kind of like threshold madness deck, which was kind of like really strong. back in the day in Odyssey block. So yeah, I really liked this one. I really like green blue. I really liked what this one was doing. So yeah, not much to say other than that, really. And then also from Odyssey Block, so we had Spectral Slam from Judgment. This is one I owned, and I really, really enjoyed it. It feels very strong to play. One of the rares is Mirari's Wake, which is great. The phantom creatures are so cool. They have it's just this really good effect of like being able to prevent all damage, and if you somehow give them permanent toughness, they're immune to combat damage, or actually all damage, actually. I really, really liked this one. Again, not much to say other than just like this deck's really strong, and this is one I owned, and I really, really liked it and really enjoyed playing it sort of straight out of the box, really. Some of the card selection there is a little iffy, like the advocates aren't so great, but very solid deck. And then the last one, I was not expecting this one, really, but I really grew to like it as I was making the video. Was Ivory Doom from Onslaught. So this is Cleric Tribal. Clerics are like one of my favorite tribes. I really like how they're usually split between white and black. I like that kind of not paradox, but you know what I mean. Like I really like you have evil clerics and you have good clerics, and the same with knights. Actually, I really like knights because knights are usually between white and black as well. I just really liked this one. I thought the card selection was really, really good. I just just liked it. Just clerics are a fun tribe. Was not expecting to like this many white and black decks when I was reviewing all these cards, but that's my top 5. So as we go into season 2, what can we expect to see in season 2? How have I split things up? So I think we're going to go from Mirrodin up to Eventide, because I think that's like another easily definable time slot of these decks, because in Shards of Alara the theme decks get repackaged and rebranded a little bit, so Eventide seems like a good place to kind of cut things off, and then season 3 will be Shards of Alara going forward. But this will be like a lot of still a lot of decks to look at. It's going to be more than the season we've just had, because like each of these sets are four decks per set. I think actually no, more than that, because Lorwyn has 5, Shadowmoor and Eventide both have 5 each, and then obviously we've got 8th, 9th and 10th edition all have 5 each. So we're looking about, we've had I think about 75 decks so far with season 1. So I think season 2 is about 85, which is a lot. It's going to keep us going for a while until we hit season 3. But I say I do really enjoy making these videos, so it's not really a problem to me. So so let's just close out here by saying, so I'm recording this in early August. This video should be coming out sort of late October. You should have just seen the video I've made about Scourge, what could have been like the whole precons. So I'm going to take a break for probably about a month, and then I think we'll come back in December. So then that gives me basically September, October, November to start building up a backlog of these videos, so I can start uploading them for schedules and stuff. I really want to thank everyone who's been watching. I know there's like a very small dedicated group of you who are watching these videos and making comments on each of them, which I say is very, very appreciated. Maybe like going forward, what I don't know, what would you like to see in future videos? Like if you have any feedback, please share it with me. I'm contemplating picking up a maybe like a better mic, because at the moment I'm just recording this on like kind of a crappy headset. So I know the audio quality is probably not great. I might spring for a mic. I might also like try and script things a little better, just because I know I can go. I mean, even this video is a good example of it, that I kind of ramble or like stall on certain things or stuff like that. I mean, I've just done it just there, haven't I? But yeah, I don't know if you'd like to see something that's more like tightly scripted, maybe. Or I mean, like my original intent for this was kind of just talking about the deck as if like it was say like you and me at like the local game store, and we're just like taking 10 minutes between games just to reminisce about a deck, maybe, so like a more conversational tone. But like, please, if you have any suggestions or ideas about what you'd like to see in future videos, how you'd like them to be structured or formatted, please leave a comment. But yeah, I do really value the input you guys have on these videos. I say it does give me a lot of motivation to keep doing it. But yes, I will be back in December. We'll be starting on, actually, we'll start on 8th edition because 8th edition came before Mirrodin. So 8th edition, sometime in December. We'll see you then. Thank you for watching season 1 of Precon Decon. Have an amazing day. Thank you for watching and listening. Goodbye.